as well on Zoom. We'll skip around a little bit here. We'll come back to the meeting minutes. So we're gonna get right to the extension of the order of conditions requested by James Lacasse of Water and Wetlands, and order of conditions filed by DEP, file 160-0282 for vegetation management on Kendall Pond. Is somebody here to represent?
Yes.
Come on up. How you doing? And just tell us, we met you at the trade show.
Yeah.
If you just want to kind of explain the company and what you're doing here.
Gotcha. Well, I'm Scott Conrad. I'm an aquatic biologist for Water and Wetland. We manage multiple municipality water bodies all over the state and all over the region for aquatic invasive plant species and things like that. At Kendall Pond, we're asking for an extension to continue the program that we've been doing since last year. It's kind of a maintenance program is what we're doing for milfoil species and for bladderwort.
Are you still using the same chemicals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same exact.
I know that was good, those prior meetings. Just wanted to know if there are any changes.
No, not at this time. There's,
So basically you're doing the same thing?
yes.
Just different company doing the same process.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're well, you know, you got a couple more weeks, which is nice to come before us. April 13th.
What's the date?
April 13th.
I didn't read it.
Oh, second page, yeah.
No.
So of course, another 3-year extension. Anybody have any questions or comments? We go over this every 3 or 4 years. They come before us and we usually review all their documents again and the chemicals that they use. Nothing's changed, what he's telling us, so. Any questions or comments?
No more.
Anything?
Is it getting any worse?
No, it's getting a little bit better actually. So,
Well,
but it's kind of like mowing your lawn almost is what I would say. Is you just have to continue to do it. It's just a maintenance program at this point.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Someone like to make a motion to approve the request for a 3-year extensions to Water and Wetlands for Kendall Pond.
Motion made.
Want to second that?
so let's second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Thank you, Roman's support.
We'll mail it out to you guys later in the week.
Go sign that one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you. Signs itself.
That's true. I hear you. That's a little bad.
Next is a notice of intent, continued from February 12th and the 26th regarding the, notice of intent filed by David Ross for Robert LaPierre for the property located at 122-120 Wampanoag Road South. Is somebody here to represent?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, mostly just for the DEP, the third party.
Yeah.
Bob and I spoke on the phone a couple times, came to the office and.
What do you have for us?
You know, as you said at the last meeting, you requested that I move the addition and the garage out of the 60-foot zone, which we started to work on. And then we got the comments from the DEP, and it looks like the bordering vegetated wetland delineation line is still an issue. So I propose having a third party review it. And I'd just like the commission to give me 3 names of consultants that would give me a fair and impartial review of it. And I'd just like to ask that the consultants didn't work with or have a previous association with Elizabeth Bagdonis, who's the abutter, and also did work for Mass Audubon.
Well, that narrows down a lot of them. There's not that many that haven't, just so you know, so. We'll give you 3, but I can't go into who's used them in the past. I mean, you know how that goes. And I understand why you're asking, but
Okay.
we'll give you 3 or 4.
Yeah, more the better.
Okay,
Okay.
yep, and then, go from there.
Thank you.
I have one I think you might like too, that, we've used in the past. I think
Okay.
Bucky would be great with him.
Yeah, he-
He did, back in the day, he did a lot of work for the city of Gardner over by the courthouse. He's coming out of Amherst, he's really good. I don't think he's done anything for either of them, so.
Okay.
And he's reasonably priced, you just gotta make sure you can get him to commit. He's pretty busy.
Okay.
they're all busy.
Yeah, he's been great over the years, yeah. So,
Well, I'm just asking for somebody that's fair and.
yeah, he's more than fair. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, great, thank you.
I don't know when we'll be able to get you.
I can work with Doug this week and get him.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Someone like to, when's the next meeting? The 8th?
Yeah.
Someone like to make a motion to continue, this hearing until, April 8th?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, you can just let us know how it goes.
Okay.
Thank you, Norman. Next is another continuance for March 11th. On notice of intent filed by Ty and Bond on behalf of the city of Gardner and Trevor Beauregard for 130 Crystal Lake Drive, North Central Pathway Nature Trail Connector. Somebody here to represent?
Yes, I am. Seth Taylor from Ty and Bond.
How you doing, Sal?
I'm doing all right. So I'd like to apologize. Alex is got the flu. He got it pretty good. The whole family has it.
Oh, boy.
So I didn't want to bring it here.
Thank you.
So we sent a memo last week, which I have copies of, which I would like to pass around.
Is that this? Yeah.
That
Oh,
is
yes,
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yes,
color,
color.
yeah, take the color one.
Somebody's doing budget cuts over here and does black and white.
I got you. Okay, and these are the plans that show revisions to the culvert for the 36-inch reinforced concrete culvert.
Yep,
And the second is the wetland mitigation area that was proposed by Doug and I, well, by the commission, and Doug and I went out and met on Thursday, or Thursday morning? Thursday morning to discuss it. And one other thing here is the last page of the memo has the figure for the alternatives. And so this is what my 17, it just might be easier to see on that. And I do have printouts of the larger plans, if you do need to see them, if 11 by 17 are too small. You just kind of, just let me know, I can put them up on the board, I can start with my computer if you'd like to. But generally, so there's two things that we discussed at the last meeting, was alternatives, and why we came to the decision to propose this route over any other.
which one?
The proposed route that we're proposing in the notice of intent.
Okay, sorry.
Yep, which is, well, now I'm not looking at it, it's option, top of my head, it's option
Yeah.
4. Take them all, okay.
Norman, can you see it, or do you have a copy?
It, the memo that we sent last week, the last page is this printout.
Yeah.
Oh, we just got that Friday.
Yeah, so what happened
I
is,
can pull up my computer.
well, when you get it late, not everybody's a chance to look at it, so.
Okay. So I wanted to go over first the alternatives and why they were selected. So Route 1, which is the red route, was the original route that was proposed for the North Central Parkway. This includes a switchback, which is generally advised against on this type of trail. And that it would require going through the National Grid driveway up, and they have flat out said no, they won't allow it. Route 2, the Green Trail, goes along the existing nature trail along the bank of Crystal Lake, but will require a land swap or easement with the Watkins Family Trust, which at this time is not feasible. It's just likely just not gonna happen. Route 3, the yellow, is the proposed, right, it's Route 3 is the proposed connector trail that we discussed we proposed at the last meeting. And Route 4, the purple, leverages the existing nature trail but continues further to the north through a wooded parcel to avoid the wetlands near the National Grid substation where the proposed trail is located. The issue is that it becomes, it falls into the buffer of Crystal Lake, which is an outstanding resource water protected as drinking water supplied by DEP and would require complex permitting with DEP through the 401 water quality process, which could be denied at any time. That's all you have to say is water quality, drinking water, you're out. And this still keeps the path in certain parts of the no-build, no-disturbance areas. The 5th route, the orange route, would extend along Park Street, and as we had discussed, there's safety concerns because the street is so narrow, and there are some very steep grades in that area, and it would perhaps pose difficulties for people who have a hard time walking or have to use mobility assistance devices, which, so those are the reasons why it was chosen to not pursue that route. The wetland crossing is part of the next, is a 2-foot wide hydraulic connection. On the 3rd page, we have just a picture looking up the channel, looking from the lower wetland up to the northern wetland. So this is where we're walking, just here. And so it's proposing to upsize the pipe from a 24-inch pipe to a 36-inch pipe with natural substrate and baffles to help maintain that substrate within the pipe. We can, as we had discussed, there was an issue where there was the concerns with the 8% grade, and to mitigate that, we could do this if you so choose. We'd have to armor the end of the pipe, which would be more wetland impact. Don't think it's necessary at this point, but if that is of concern or worrying about scouring in the lower wetland, we could implement that as well. So the replication area that we went out and saw, what we did was in the field, we flagged out the area of the extent of the knotweed. That area came out to about 4,500 square feet. Following Mass DOT's calculations for how much inland wetland replication costs, it's about $95 a square foot, which comes out to about an extra $45,000 on the project.
We don't care about cost.
I'm just letting you know that's so.
Block the cost right out for now.
You got it.
Don't forget, we're all for this, we're trying to just figure it out, but
Yeah, sure.
normally cost shouldn't be discussed with us on this type of thing.
Sure. So what we did is from the commission's concerns for the long linear shape of the wetland replication area, we redesigned it into a liver-shaped area. Right now equaling the same replication square footage of 270 square feet for the loss of 80 square feet, which I think is a 3.4 to 1 ratio. I believe that's off the top of my head. It's in here, but.
Yeah.
And so that's essentially what this memo has covered. The alternatives for why the proposed path was chosen, the modification to the area and alignment, the shape of the wetland replication area, proposed area, and that is all. And I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
You mentioned the area was maybe used as a dump. Is that true?
There's a lot of trash out there.
A lot of trash.
I mean, we did see, there's like beans and like
It would be, if you look at this map here,
Yeah.
where the substation is, it'd be over on this side of it. It was used by the city as a dump. They dumped everything in there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw tires, I think it was a microwave we saw.
Yeah.
And there's some,
Don't wanna see in there too.
yeah, there's some, there's some folks camping out there too, so there's a lot of debris from that.
I think you,
But can you just tell the police to go down there and kick out who's camping there? Every year we have to do it over Frozen Brook too.
Yeah, we saw like one or two of these.
Yeah, there were two sites, one was empty,
kind of beat,
one, yeah.
old and,
Yeah, but one was, there was somebody.
there was like a pitch tent up, it looked new.
Yeah, just send something to the police department, have them check that in Pearly Brook, because it always happens. I guess you went out there, what are your thoughts? I get the whole purpose of this, but it's,
well, let me say something. I'll go ahead, yeah.
And you can't follow the actual railroad bed completely because it abuts on homeowners' properties and they don't like that, and the substation is there. Yeah.
Right, and the trail ends halfway through in the woods. I mean, there's more of a network in there, but to the north of there will be similar or more wetland impacts, because there's more wetlands to the north.
It's pretty wet today.
It's
It's very wet
the whole
today.
thing's wet.
Yeah.
You're either in an upland, you're in river water.
I'm just, now, all these different proposals, people are coming, and I assume, they drive to this area, they got some bikes on their rack, on their, whatever. Where are they gonna park?
well, they park downtown. Go ahead, Trevor.
At that new place.
Yeah, so we just built a 48 space parking lot in Park Street next to the house.
Oh, okay, all right,
And actually, this trail is a continuation of the trail we just built there along the back of the pool. And
Yeah, that's this.
Yeah.
the thing was changed.
So from the end of where it goes behind the pool, people are gonna ride their bikes or hike along that driveway, that initial driveway of the
Okay, yeah.
cemetery? Is that gonna get repaved? Cause it's not in terrific shape right now.
We
Just
also-
curious. Okay,
That
so
would
they're
be-
gonna,
That would be the city through the DPW.
Okay.
We don't have the money to do that right now.
yeah, okay.
I have a clarifying question.
Yeah.
So, I understand there's a lot more buffer zone being impacted here, but there's still buffer zone being impacted by your proposed.
And more wetland impact, so it'll be a similar, but probably greater impact to the buffer zone, the no-build zone. This route that actually cuts in between the two wetlands has fewer total square footage of impact than the route along Crystal Lake and then cutting around, because this area wasn't, this could be delineated in much greater depth, and there's wetlands everywhere. And that, there's more wetland impact, there'll be more culverts, there'll be more, just more overall impact to the wetlands. This was the smallest impact that we could find from
Just
this.
one more quick, yeah, I heard from throwing
So-
everything out there.
The yellow trail along the lake, all of that now is currently kind of old road?
Yeah, it's trail.
Trail.
So,
It's not, people are just doing it on their own.
Sort of,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that.
but
sort
it's,
of a dirt
it's,
road.
Yeah, it's dirt.
yeah, it's well established.
Yeah.
It's old. I mean, we were walking it in, you could walk through it without
Yeah.
hitting branches.
Okay.
I mean,
And again, that you can't do anything with the trail, the old railroad bed from here up to here.
From,
Well, the best way,
Well-
if you could do it, when you come across by the pool, which is all been repaved and everything, just continue. That would take you right through the old railroad bed, right through the parking lot of Napoleon Company, which was illegally put in there. There's no permission there, they just did it on their own. And into the
Yeah, you just
the lower part of
you just
the,
keep going.
Well, I think the primary concern here is that National Grid will just not allow access to this spot. So right in here where they are, they're not gonna allow crossing of that spot where their driveway is. So that the path would have to go directly through there
it does now.
informally.
Well, couldn't we
but-
ask them if we put like, sensors in with lights that people are riding their bikes, and if there's a truck coming, the sensor clicks a light and they stop? I mean, they do that everywhere.
Yeah, I just did, yeah, down where the air, there's one like that,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's a main drag, and it's still, lights start flashing, and, it says a bike, it's a picture of a bike flashing, oh.
I mean, my understanding is that National Grid has just.
This is how I feel about it. It's nice to have a rail trail, but we're not here for rail trails, we're here to protect the wetlands of this city, right? I just, we're not protecting them this way. If you, I know people go down there, they're not supposed to be here, but you know what, but if we do one of these trails out in here, you're gonna get a lot of people down there. Especially when they bridge 140, that's coming. I mean, they've already done the test borings out there and stuff like that, right? That's gonna bring a lot of people on this rail trail, because you can park at the Elks, or not the Elks, but next to the Elks, and you can jump on your bike and go right from there, right down through. And that is gonna, I don't agree with keeping it anywhere near Crystal Lake. I know, there's a lot of areas that shouldn't have been there, it's been there for 100 years, and probably past been there for at least 100 years. But when you start putting a lot of people on that, you're gonna have problems. I think the best way to do it is to continue that rail trail behind all the houses on the one right here, and make some kind of a deal with National Grid.
And if they, like I said, I tried to get a hold of my contact, I haven't heard back from, but did we get a formal letter of them denying us anything?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll tell you something right now,
Because that's what they normally get.
going on National Grid parking lot, or National Grid property, they've got arborvitae trees up there, they made the hill, so there was so people wouldn't see it. That's why it was done. Well, it was never done right, because you can still see it, right? So if you cut that off, you could cut that bank down, you could separate the parking lot that they don't want you to go through, and you can go right into the rail trail.
Go ahead, Trevor.
So we did look at that alternative, right away from Crystal Lake Drive out to the substation. There are a number of problems with that. There's a lot of cut and fill along that. It actually is people's backyard now.
They don't own it.
Correct. And, but they use it.
Oh.
And if you were to go in and cut that out along the way the rail used to be, you're gonna have some serious drainage issues back there that we're gonna have to deal with. It's all below, it's all below the actual, what's the word I want? It's-
Recessed.
Thank
Oh,
you.
the elevations are.
It's
Recessed.
recessed, yeah, so you're dealing with that the whole length pretty much, and then when you come out, the daylight near the substation, that's a big drainage culvert now. And a big retention pond, so.
Oh, yeah, we know.
And then you get the elevation from where the parking lot is down to the railroad right away, it's probably a good 8 feet. So it's not that simple. That's why we ended up coming up with this other alternative.
I'll tell you another alternative. The park, when you make the entrance to go up in the National Grid area, there's a house right there. Once you buy that house, tear it down, there's your entrance. No, really.
Well, when they came before us at one point, when they thought they were gonna be able to sell, do you remember that?
We can't go down Park Street, it's not a viable alternative.
No, you wouldn't be on Park Street.
No, Doug is saying it. Close
If you
the
could
house
buy
down,
that house,
come around, but you couldn't do it.
There's your parking area.
You still couldn't do it, you couldn't come around. I don't know what to say, because I mean, it's the impacts everywhere. So at what point do we all say, well, these are the 4 or 5 options, none of them are.
None of them are any good.
none of them are great. I know you're trying, but
Yeah,
you guys are asking us to kind of go, okay, you can go ahead and go through wetlands, or you can kind of go around them and not impact that much of them. We're here to protect this, not make trails, like Duncan said, that's the hard part for us.
no, I understand,
I think it's a great, all of them have some value to them, but we're here to protect.
that's true, but, and of course, the regulations do allow for modification
If we choose,
if you
if
choose.
the Conservation Commission chooses to do so.
If you choose to do so, so we're doing everything we can to bring the public good,
Yep,
and then any impact that is occurring is being mitigated for. Alternatives have been considered to reduce, minimize, avoid as much as possible, except for not doing it all. I mean, bringing people into the area through use of the bike path is the purpose. And that's the purpose of it. I have a bike trail.
Oh, I agree with you, but it's just saying, you know, when this is all done, there's gonna be a lot of traffic on that bike path.
Yeah.
Because if you go down 140, especially in the weekends, where it crosses, there's at least 10 or 15 cars there all the time, right? And they're going from, you know, there all the way up to Winchton and so on. So with that bridge in there, that is gonna really put a lot of traffic through there. A lot. And the Crystal Lake don't need
Hold on.
it, it really
Hold on.
doesn't.
what do you got, Norman?
I said it's already used that much already.
What?
He said it's
He said
used a
the
lot.
trails are used up.
Oh, yeah, that's right, it is, I agree.
The one, yeah.
Yeah, they're beaten paths. I mean,
Go ahead.
I mean, so, it's a tough one for me because I understand there is a variance, and this qualifies as for public good. The problem is, it's the city drinking water supply. Something goes wrong, oh, who approved that thing anyway? Oh, it's Concom, they don't care about water. I mean, think about it from our perspective, it's really challenging to say, oh yeah, it's not that big a deal. It is a big deal.
well, that's true, that of course is true, but this specific trail this alternative has been located down gradient of the lake. So whatever just spills some oil, I don't know, whatever. It will
You got
flow-
e-bikes
it'll
now,
flow
someone lets an
away from
e-bike go
Crystal
and it lands in the Crystal Lake. Alright, you got not just people pedaling bikes anymore.
It's not that close to the water, Greg.
It's close enough.
There's a lot of.
The watershed
Electric bikes.
does pull the water away from the lake, which is one of the reasons why we didn't choose the one that's closer to the lake, which would drain into the lake, which would then put you into the ORW and DEP 401
Not like,
permit.
put one in.
Yeah, but all along.
This alternative doesn't require that because the water doesn't go to the lake.
Yeah, cause all I see right now is people going, oh, this is pretty, go a little closer, go a little closer, go a little closer, and they're right on the edge. And we're gonna have all these little trails cutting down to the water.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it on the bike trail on the opposite side behind the hospital. There's little foot trails going down to the water now. So and people can see, we can see them. This one, it's gonna be hard to police that.
I think if we do everything in our best interest of safety, usability, there are a lot of wetlands, and I think wetlands are an attractive thing to have on any kind of trail or walkway, because there's something different there. And the wetlands that we have out here, I know are pretty large, but they are pretty nice to see.
Yeah, but they're going around it, so they're not gonna be able to see them.
We can see some, you know, I
Some.
think, but, I think we have to do the best we can with some give and take to get this thing through, because I think we're just doing what we're doing now, is arguing, there's not a lot of alternatives to come up with other options. So we have to somehow figure out the best alternative for what we have right there. And, you know, I don't know what else you could do because it is a small area, and that limits what you can do in the first place. But it is a nice area.
I agree, and I think with the construction, if it goes along, will improve the whole situation. It's a mess the way it is right now, and what they propose to do is going to improve it immensely. And, you know, it's so well used now, with the walkers, the bikers, and the dog walkers. There's a lot of people that go there every day, and like Dave said, it's a nice place. And it's the same on the other side. You're going through wetlands off the 140 area, that's always clean, and I've never seen any rubbish there. It's always kept clean. And I think the same thing would happen on this new park behind the, going through Crystal Lake Park Cemetery and so forth. And,
Thank you,
it's, okay.
thank you, Norm. Out of the 4 routes, what do you guys like the best? Given the
I
circumstances.
like 2 the best. You gotta get people off this lake. It's nice to see, yeah, but you gotta, because you know, has there ever been a study on how much use it's gonna get?
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a lot, but I
I
mean,
mean, you know, you're gonna have 1,000 cat.
The purpose of it is that people allow them to use
200
it.
bikes or 50 bikes. Do you know? Well, why are you laughing? I don't
Well,
think
the
that's-
purpose
I
of the
don't think
trail
it's
is
a
to
laughing
use.
matter, I really don't.
Well, I mean, the numbers you're throwing out there, Hunter.
I mean, you know, they do traffic studies for every other damn thing, why not do a traffic study there? You know, have somebody come down and count all the bikes that go from 140 to Winchester on a Saturday or a Sunday. They'll give you some idea when it's good weather, because you know damn well, they're not gonna park there because it's dangerous. You know, the state police don't want you parking there, the town police certainly don't want you parking there, because the kids get out of the car and they go out, they can drift right into 140, which is a heavily traveled road. So you know that when that bridge is in, they're gonna find out that they can park at the Elks, which is great, and they're gonna go that way, but there's gonna be a lot of people there. And, you know,
The elevations?
I'd like to have some kind of a count of how many people do it.
I think it'll be a lot, but what's a lot and what's not a lot?
Well, I don't know,
You know,
you don't
there's gonna be
know.
a cutoff somewhere.
Dave, you know, I don't know
Alright,
anything.
alright, hold on,
It's an existing 12-inch culvert like somewhere like over here.
what's it for?
Drainage.
From that, for this?
Yeah. It's like good clay or masonry. It's
Oh,
like old. I don't know. It's really disturbing that.
I mean, can we go to Watkins and ask for the land swap? Can we go to the National Grid and confirm in writing that they won't let us pass? Just to check those boxes?
We already did.
And I just asked and you said you didn't have it in writing.
For what?
For National Grid, did they tell you in writing they will not allow us to cross?
I think I have an email with it in there, yeah.
From who?
The parking lot, right?
Yeah, from who did you get?
V or Steve, yeah.
Well, I think you need to go above that. I was gonna talk to V,
Well,
but
V
there's.
goes above. V goes above him, he doesn't make decisions.
No, I know, but we need to get something in writing, not an email. And then try Watkins too, something in writing, not an email. They'll give it to you, they have a legal,
I'm not dealing with Watkins. He's already said no, and he's not in favor of it.
well, then let them say no in writing so we have the documentation.
Maybe our ex-member could do it.
Who? Oh, yeah, maybe we might know somebody to help us, like.
Well, if none of these trails work, what's our next option, just not to do anything? I mean, somebody's gonna complain about whichever one we choose. And I'm not really worried about what other people say, think, or do, other than ourselves.
Right.
I mean, that's gonna happen no matter what you're trying to do. So we have to put some things aside and just say that's the way it is, and gonna live with it.
Yeah, but we can, this is for the greater good of the public, right?
Yeah.
But is it the greater good of Gardner public, and what do they want here? Does it, just the people that ride bikes and walk want this? Or is it the entire city, and what percentage of it? That's what we gotta think about. Cause again, we're here to protect, not to let big bike paths go through, there's a fine line.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out what that is. No other options with this switchback at all? There's no other way to work that? It's the grades is just not
It's
there?
just- That's my understanding
From who?
from Alex about the difficulty with going through the, you know, the grades and coming back through the bedrock and all that.
And they don't want us to go through grades?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know,
That
I'm not-
was an engineering evaluation, not a well.
Yeah.
And another thing, when you enter the property
What property?
At the Crystal Lake Cemetery, right? There's no guardrails, hardly, it's just rocks, big stones put there. Then now they have put some guardrails in, but they need to put more in, that's for damn sure. They're gonna come through there, cause somebody's gonna end up in Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
If you have like the regular, guide that they use on the highways, that'll keep people out of there. I'm the only one that gets thought of that. Well, all along here, when you enter there, right, all the way over to here, where that stops right there, there's a board across, it's like a gate, right? Most of it is just stone, big stone, so you can't drive and you can't go into the lake. They have replaced some of it with regular guardrail, which they need to break that guardrail all the way down through.
Let's go through Route 3 again, the yellow one, what's the,
Which one, 3?
yeah. Is that just an elevation issue too, or what's the main? There's major impacts, right?
So this, this still keeps the drainage going back into Crystal Lake. So if there is an oil, I'm just using it's gonna go into Crystal Lake, drinking water supply, this puts it into 401 water quality certification jurisdiction, which if there's a chance for a spill, they're gonna, it's just a no.
So what's the difference between that one and the red one, or the purple one?
That's what I asked Rich.
I mean, it's kind of what you just said, right, on the purple one? Number 4, it looks,
Oh, cause it was pink on this,
yeah.
So there's just more impact on that. So on the purple one, there is just simply more impact to the buffer zones, the no disturb, no build, to Crystal Lake.
Okay,
So those both will drain to the lake. Again, 401, all of that.
yeah,
A and 1 and 2, red and green, neither drain to the lake. And so there is no potential for a spill to Crystal Lake in 1 or 2. 2 is proposed because it's not going up through, obviously, as we discussed, not going through National Grid's area. So that's the reason why green was selected. There is no potential pollutant discharge to Crystal Lake drinking water.
yeah.
It eliminates it completely.
Okay, so you said the purple is no good because of the impact, right?
Correct,
And you said the yellow is no good because of the impact,
correct.
and the green we can't do because Watkins, right? We don't think Watkins will give us an easement. And red we can't do because of the switchback and cutting across National Grid. So what are you exactly asking us to do? I mean, you just said no to the 3 and
I'm sorry.
I'm
getting lost there.
me too.
So the yellow is,
So, I'm sorry, yellow is,
Let me ask
The
you,
yellow's the one?
yellow,
No, let me ask-
I'm sorry, the way I look
Now,
at it is.
I thought I was going with you there.
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna be here for a long
No,
time. No, let me ask,
Purple, red.
now I know you discussed this in your office, right?
Yeah.
Of all the routes, what did you and your boss, if you don't mind telling me, what did you come up with?
That, this is,
Of all the routes, what route? What did you like the best?
Route 3, because it has the least impactful area going through the wetland. That is a really small area. It's 50 square feet of direct wetland impact. If there's a swath on the side of clearing trees, which there aren't even trees there, you don't have to clear in the channel crossing.
How far from I'll say that wood gate that's there, where it starts, to where it cuts off? How long is it? Well, what's the difference?
To where the purple comes into it?
Right.
Yeah.
From where
Okay,
it starts
gotcha.
here to where it cuts
Yeah.
off.
So we're looking at around 600 feet.
Go ahead.
So, I mean,
It's not like five.
this is not the way to look at it, but you have a auto road with no buffer at all adjacent to the drinking water supply that is much more threat,
Oh, yeah.
a tremendous more threat than a buffered, small paved bike path. It's just hard for me to look at this road that gets traveled by cars every day, that leaks a heck of a lot more than any bike ever will.
That's
I know
true.
that
Oh,
may
yeah.
or may not be the best way to think of it, but there's trees all throughout the buffer over here. And you said does it slope away? Or is it gonna be kept away in this area?
Yeah, it'll be sloped away back into.
I mean, it's hard to say, well, we get a lot of cars there every day. That was before the fact, but that's what I'm having trouble with.
Well, I, you know,
We
one
have
of the
an
things
audience
is,
has.
Hold on, go ahead. I'll get you, hold on.
from where it stops to where it cuts off, it should be fenced. So you can't leave the trail, go toward the water, you can't do it.
So there are proposed three wooden rail fences doing that in the notice of intent.
Yeah.
That's been proposed.
Is that gonna keep people from just getting off the bike and going over the?
Oh, you don't want red, you want
Is it the same?
you want like black chain link fence, a 4 foot, that'll keep people out.
Is it the same kind of fence between the pool and the reservoir now, the new one?
Yeah, kind of,
Is it the same kind?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a split rail fence, so, yeah, so.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
Your name is?
Cynthia Boucher.
Thank you.
Just a suggestion, I don't know if this can be done or not, but Route 1 appears to be the one that has the least impact on Crystal Lake.
Mhm.
And I know that's right, but the switchback is the issue.
No, it's crossing over
It's-
the National Grid problem.
Yes, right, I understand.
And the elevations and the drainage.
I understand, and again, you're the engineer, so I don't know, but we had this same issue in Wingeted, and on the 140 section on Commercial Drive, which goes into Miloc, across from the Irving gas station, and we built a tunnel. We
Right, too,
went
yeah.
down.
I know that, but this is,
And build a tunnel, if we could put a tunnel underneath the entranceway to the substation, so that they're concerned with the traffic, they're concerned about their trucks, you know, and the people on the bikes. You could have, I don't know, again, I don't know what the wetlands look like there or anything like that, I'm just offering that as a possible suggestion.
yeah, the elevations there are pretty bad, and it would definitely flood. I mean, just because I remember all this when we built this, you have to go way down low, and the structure to hold those trucks up would be substantial. Because they're coming through with heavy bucket trucks,
Sure.
they have transformers coming in and out of there.
Well,
Yeah.
same thing on Commercial Drive too, at Miloc, they have
They don't have
18 wheelers going in.
Not with with a transformer or a major piece, we don't know.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I like
Again,
that.
I don't know,
I've
I'm just
done
trying to
that
think
before.
outside the box.
Yep.
If
But
we're
the
gonna, go ahead.
The switchback's tough too, on top of it.
I mean, I would think if I can, if National Grid isn't gonna allow passage even with lights, they're probably not gonna allow it. That's all.
Yeah, it's still their property.
It's, I can't speak for them, I can't say that, but
If
I
we
think
were-
logic would suggest.
I just wanna say something before I forget.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we were to choose number 3, or Route 3, what other stumbling blocks are there from that point that we could run into?
In what way, you mean, like during, in construction or in usage of the path?
In how it's located, the topography, anything that's gonna interfere with this beyond what we're talking about, that you can think of.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is since the area of the mitigation has been moved, they're gonna have to get access to that spot. They're gonna have to drive down there with their equipment. So it's gonna add some sort of more, and it's temporary impact, but it will impact something. They have to get to it, you know. But for the construction of the trail itself, I mean, the way it's designed, I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's pulling out everything that's in the path down to the substrate, backing it in and refilling it. And, you know, with the split rail fence, there's no restrictions to wildlife passage. you know, amphibians are still gonna cross it. It's, I don't think it's a hindrance in that.
Yeah, all right, I was just wondering if there's anything that we didn't come up with yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 50 square feet of total impact on that one?
So there's 50 square feet of direct impact from the installation of the culvert. There's another 30 square feet, 15 square feet on either side that we accounted for clearing vegetation. In the channel, there's no vegetation.
Yeah.
But we accounted for it anyway. And then, you know, adding 30 feet on, and then the multiplier for the mitigation, it's not another 1,000 square feet. They're in that spot, there are trees in the channel on the banks, but not in that spot. You know, it'll be some shrubs that'll come out, but no trees.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to make a decision yet. Are you guys? I mean, do you have enough information? Do you feel comfortable enough?
I got a question for you. Now, on number 3, like, why do we, well, I think I know, but I'm gonna ask you anyways, why does it come down and it looks like a check mark? Why not bend it around, just put it, dump it into the,
Oh, you're talking about the top?
yeah, right here. I mean, why do this? Why don't you just dump it around there?
It's a slope.
It's a slope.
Yeah, you tell with the trees.
So where the trail enters is generally flat, right there. And then to the side of it, it goes straight down. So this is following the beaten path onto that trail to keep going. If you were to just go straight, it would, it could even be a jurisdictional ditch. It's not, but you'd have to go down and come back up, and you'd probably have to fill it.
We're worried about a switchback, and we got basically a right angle turn. And you know what's gonna happen? People are just gonna go down that, aren't they, on their mountain bikes?
Hopefully not.
I'll tell you
Hopefully
what I would do if I was.
hopefully the split rails will keep
I'm
them
riding
up.
right down that.
But that's the reason for it. It's following the existing path that's there.
Yeah.
It would just be more fill.
There'll be more,
next door.
you said there is fence there? There will be?
No, there will be, yeah, so the
Yeah.
split rail fence is gonna go all the way up to the end. Once this is extended down the rail path, though,
Yeah.
that fence
Yeah.
will follow. So, a biker's gonna hopefully, stop at the fence. They can go over it, I don't know.
I know you probably did already, but I'm gonna ask for continuance, but I think with the next meeting, if you can give us some real detail on this, the yellow.
Okay.
With, you know, the replication areas all planned out, some visuals of what it's gonna look like if there's, with that split rail fence coming down. And just really dive into the
I think
details
that's
of this
just
path.
expensive. Junk it. That's that, split layer fences, don't keep.
Or
them,
other
you know?
options.
Okay.
A
I mean,
4 foot,
that's-
a
that-
4 foot black chain link fence, they look good, that keeps people out, it really does.
Okay, that's following the typical design that they use for
Yeah.
rail trails across the state.
Right.
That's a,
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's kind of like a
Yeah,
guideline.
well,
give us something like that or other
Signage.
options.
But they're from Boston. Now, another thing, let me ask you a question. The elevation, as it cuts off the old existing trail here, right?
Yes.
What's the elevation above the water? Roughly,
15 feet?
okay.
I mean, that's
As-
a
as you-
real rate.
as-
I mean,
now,
it goes uphill, so it
Starts at 15,
yeah.
it
Oh,
climbs.
that sounds about right, you know,
Mhm.
okay, now as you're climbing, what's the elevation there on that trail?
Once you get to it, it's flat, and then it starts going next to the wetlands, that's when it starts going down. So it's flat all through here. This area is kind of where the person's living, like right at the top here. And then it goes down flat, and it comes back up right before the turn back onto the railroad tracks.
okay. So we want elevations, we want some details, we want the replication, how you do the replication, the size of it, how long you maintain it, a maintenance plan, we want everything under the sun for that Route 3, so we can understand it better, and then we'll bring it up for a vote.
Okay, you have a question?
Greg, yes,
My name's Dave Antea,
oh, okay.
and I have a couple of comments that I'd like to make. When you look at Crystal Lake, you're talking about right now, because Dave and I walked this, a pretty small section where the bikes are gonna be. Look around the lake. if you're worried about contamination. You have a golf course that they use chemicals
Yeah,
that they have.
that's before we had it to say, but yes.
Right, but you're talking about contamination.
Yeah.
You have that. Look at what type of impact has the bicycle trail had on the other side of the lake? Is there much trash there? Do you see people emptying things there? No, you don't. If you go on Route 140, that goes across wetlands, the bicycle trail, and look how much trash has happened there. You don't see it. So the concern about people making a mess of this area, if you look at what we have so far, is very, very, very minimal for that impact area. Also, Trevor can correct me if I'm wrong, but the entire bicycle trail is part of the city master plan. So this has been, Cindy and I are on the North Central Central Pathway since the beginning. And so the master plan is over 30 years old that we've been working on for this to be a continuation. And part of the reason that funding was provided for the trail was because it was transportation between Winchton and Gardner. And so now if you discontinue this, you've kind of broken part of the reason that this trail was initially being built.
Do you live in the city?
Pardon?
Do you live in the city?
Yes, I do.
How often do you use the other parts of the trail? I'm just curious.
I probably in the spring, I'll ride on it 3 to 4 times a week.
Great.
Because that's one of the reasons, I live on Stone Street.
Yep.
That's one of the reasons I moved out there, is because I just go down Stone Street
Cut
and I go
across.
right out onto the trail. And Norm rides it often too.
I know, that's why I was asking how often you do.
Yeah, he can give you information about how much impact is there really. And part of the reason, again, for the trail was to get people to ride it and come into Gardner and maybe spend some money.
Yeah.
So we're looking at, you know, the impact. I mean, I understand the wetlands and your concern on it, but with replication and I think some of the mitigation with building the fence, if that's what you need to do to control people, if that's a concern. But the new one that they already have, Crystal Lake Park, how much impact has that had? Do you see people going over the fence and jumping in the lake? I haven't.
I don't know, I don't watch it, but, okay,
But,
thank you.
all right.
That's good information.
I have a question about
Go ahead.
the greater landscape. So the trail goes on the other side of Crystal Lake behind hospital. So it goes north too. So where does that lead? Is it gonna be a big circle?
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, but they both go north.
It
Well, they
goes
both-
back up to 140.
That ends at the college, really.
It ends at the college. So that
Pretty
part
much.
ends at the college, and this is the only one that's gonna go to Winchton and over the bridge.
The original plan was Kelton Street and then on Stone Street up, what's the?
Go up Stone Street and cut across by where Winter Cave
John
is.
Eaton Road or something like that.
Old Johnny.
Old
Yeah,
John Eaton
yeah, I
Road,
remember
which
that.
got canned a long time ago.
Okay.
There was some issues there, private ownership and all that, so that, and not only that, Kelton, it's not a safe road to be biking on anyways.
Okay,
Okay.
And
so,
also the trail cuts across the college and you can go in the back by the middle school and high school, so you can go over to Dunn's Pond.
That's the other one.
Okay.
all right, so if you could get us the rest, you know, the detailed plan, now that we're on to that Route 3, the yellow, give us a, you know, good plan. And when you do replications, right, we know, we don't want this long replication, we know it doesn't work. I specifically wanna know who and how are they gonna maintain that until it's up and we know it survived.
Okay,
Like, who in the city is gonna go up there and maintain it?
and maintain it, okay, yeah, that's,
Checklist on maintaining it, a number to call, something's up, going on up there, some signage. Maybe we, you know, some wayfinding as well. We wanna have it all ready to go for the April 8th meeting.
Okay, and a discussion of the grade,
Yep,
and there was one other thing.
Elevations.
grade,
Elevations.
yeah, grade / elevations, the fence options,
Fence options.
and maintenance options, some wayfinding.
Okay.
Anything else that we're gonna discuss that comes to mind with your group or Trevor, and, we'll continue it to the April 8th. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
So while he's doing that, just be prepared with any other questions. We're taking off all the other options except for that yellow trail. Alright.
Norm, can you still hear us?
Norm, can you hear everybody?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you. All right, now we're getting into the old business, which is, all-purpose storage, Gardner, represented by Chris Fuda, Fieldstone Land Consultants. Any update there?
So I just heard back, they have the, report, you know, they're forming the field portion of that, the 14th. I brought it up, with Stephanie, her name, in the field, if she was able to get it in by today, that'd be great. She just emailed me, it was like late Friday, and, you know, got into it this morning. Wasn't able to do it, obviously, hence not being here. Looking at the 29th for submission date, so sometime end of this week. And then, so I guess expect to have that for the 8th as well, the time bond, third party.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, it's struggling along a little slower than we expected.
Yeah, I did,
I know you can pick them up.
got out to, the location, and, I sent you guys kind of like a picture, where it was like, even if, you know, we're being generous or conservative, like in their favor for the location of the wetlands, still much of it would be within the 30-foot. A lot of the new fill area that they pushed in, you know, like the trash in there, looks like they just got like a, you know, Caterpillar bulldozer and just rolled right down the hill. You know, so they've been doing like oil changes on the millings there, just, you know, it's pretty rough, you know, a lot of trash just in the substrate material, it's not pretty, so.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see exactly what the, third-party review says. So yeah, just from what I observed in the field, it does look kind of rough, so.
Okay.
Be prepared for that.
All right, someone like to make a continuance to the meeting, April 4th, or is it, sorry, the 8th?
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Someone like to second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next, 170 Mill Street, have we heard anything back at all?
So based on some of the concerns expressed at the last meeting, I reached out to the Office of Dam Safety, you know, expressing some of the additional concerns based on the increased rainfall of the season. And they were able to get a dam specialist engineer on site later that week after the prior Monday meeting. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday, they got him up there. And they noted no substantial change from prior to the conditions, you know, from April, May 23. I sent them pictures of what I saw too, and, you know, compared it to the pictures they already had, and, you know, the water was, you know, spitting out more aggressively, but, you know, I guess as per their, you know, engineering judgment, the dam itself, structurally speaking, was unchanged.
So what are they gonna do now? I mean, they missed all the dates.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as actual procedure, it's still been kind of, you know, they're both resorting to their respective legal counsels, and, you know, there's
Nothing we can do.
Yeah, nothing we can do, I guess, frankly, at this point.
As long as we're covered.
Yeah, so we're just gonna keep it on the agenda.
No, I asked, you know, if they could forward any developments to us, and, you know, I would do likewise, so.
All right, someone like to make a motion to continue 170 Mill Street?
I'll make that motion.
To the 8th, someone like to second that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You have one more thing that kind of came in under the wire, which had already submitted the agenda. Matt, the president of Gardner Youth Baseball Softball League, came into the office on Thursday. They are looking to put in a new digital scoreboard at the 90 Mechanic Street, or 100 Mechanic Street, shows up a little differently than what we look at. Ballpark, there is a stream, like a perimeter stream that kind of follows the back of the diamond.
Yeah.
And he was helpful enough to provide a hand-drawn sketch, and it is actually, you know, about 30 foot out from the tree lines. So it would be, you know, out of the no build, and, you know, I'm currently helping him with the RDA application, and he has requested a hardship kind of exemption for the 50 filing fee and the advert fee for the RDA.
Yeah, I think we can.
So I guess I didn't want to tell him, you know.
I think we should waive the fee, and for those of you who've been on the commission a while, they've been trying to get it, they've got new boards, new board members. I'm not opposed to the sign, it's gotta go kind of where it is anyways, they're very limited where it's gonna get there for power. So if they can come to terms and get everything signed up and ready to go, if you can help them fill all the paperwork out. Let's, when they have it and it's ready to present to us, we can vote on a waiving the fee. It's our town Little League, because, I mean, we've always supported them. And I don't think it's previously disturbed.
The last time they were all set to go, and
I know.
whatever.
Yeah, they worked
They
out with the contractor, a lot of the work is being done pro bono, you know, which is a good thing for them. Yeah, so it seems, I told him, like, you know, the more, the other time I mentioned like a flagpole, and I told him the more he wants to do, the more I have to recommend the NOI, to kind of keep it to what is crucial. You know, that being the scoreboard.
They need a flag, but maybe we can combine it in one. But again, we're still outside of that third.
Yeah, so.
And it's previously disturbed, we lost our old park, they don't have a flag. I mean, they do the Pledge of Allegiance almost,
Sure.
I think at every game still, when I was on the board, they still did it,
Sure.
so.
Yeah, I told him to expect to come to the April 8th meeting, just to,
Yeah.
you know, speak about it, but I just wanted to kind of preempt that with just clearing the fee exemption with you guys first.
And we still have $2,200 or $2,800 in that Brooks account that was used for that field. What I was gonna suggest to everybody is we use some of that money to help them buy, all the mitigation, the silt fence, everything they need to get in there and get it done right. I mean, I think that's more fair.
It's burning a hole in our pocket, let's get it
Yeah,
done.
well, I just think it's been time, they've had a lot of change over there. So, all right, so they'll come before us and, but
Yeah, we can talk about it.
we can help them out.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other new business?
No, I didn't wanna.
Yeah, let's, go to the meeting minutes. No, go ahead.
Oh. You
I'm
moved,
here.
sorry, you moved.
I'm not behind you anymore.
Okay, never were anyways.
Steve Rockwood, 310 Pearl Street. I attended the Zoom School Building Committee meeting last week,
Okay,
and the OPM said that they had been in and talked to the Conservation Commission. Now, I couldn't verify or not, because I wasn't at the last meeting, but I know they haven't been around for a while. So I guess the first question is, have they been to a meeting,
Not since.
especially the last meeting?
Bacon construction?
yes.
I've had some conversations with Joe McDonald, but he, I mean, he hasn't, like, come to the meeting, obviously, I guess.
Well, I just don't.
We went
want-
on site out there though.
I just don't want them to
No, there's,
present something in their meeting that's not correct by this meeting.
no, we have met them on site.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
think,
it was, it ended with, they're gonna do it when the growing season started.
Yeah, I understand that, I just don't
we
want
need to
them,
plan pretty close, pretty soon. We need to plan for maybe the next meeting.
Yeah.
Because then at the end of the rain season, they gotta start planting and we need time to.
Yeah, Corinne and I actually, I brought her to the site visit.
Oh, great.
And they were just kind of wanting to get ahead of the game and, make sure they were going to do everything, as it should be. Mentioned the bio mulch right off the bat.
Yeah.
Originally, we were gonna do a straw. They did have some concerns about using machines in the area, in the lower wetland replication area, right as you're driving up
So they can do it by
across
hand.
from the park.
Yeah. They were gonna plug it by hand at one point, remember when we went out there? So,
Yeah, I mean, obviously I wasn't there at the beginning, so
Yeah.
I can only speak to
No,
what
that's
I,
fine.
what I heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, you know, we had a conversation with that and, you know, I guess expect to hear from them again, however long soon,
okay,
when they wanna start doing that, so.
Okay, that's the area down at the bottom of the hill
Right,
towards Stump Pond.
right across,
Yeah,
yeah, from the state park, yeah.
yep. All right, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, really.
All right, let's go to the meeting minutes, February 26th. Someone like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the 26th?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have to abstain because I wasn't on the commission then.
Yep. Norman, you still there?
Yes,
Thank you. So moved as approved, the March 11th, someone like to make a motion to approve March 11th meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Someone second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, so moved as approved. Does anybody have any other further new business?
Can you bring up the thing about the horse park, or is that not on the minute? It's not on?
Which one?
The horse park,
Gamma?
Gamma's horse park.
Yeah,
That's new business?
so I've been just trying to work with Sean about dealing with the, so there's an open permit on the house
Yep.
they did 2 or 3 years ago, or I guess over 3 years ago now, I guess because it's expired, so 3 and some months years ago.
What's the open permit, ours?
Yes, for some single family, they did up the house.
Yeah, I knew that,
Yeah.
so they haven't, why haven't they closed it?
I don't know, so that's still open, and, you know, then there was the issue of the manure,
Yeah.
you know, within probably about 70, 80 feet of a stream that goes to the, essentially down to the Crystal Lake. And, you know, I also saw that on the property, they were scheduled to do the cell tower, which, you know, was a pretty substantial amount of construction and an ORW. Right also, like on top of where the manure was stockpiled. So I reached out to Sean and was, you know, expressed that. He was good, he's, you know, been very cooperative about it. I said, all right, I'll work with you on the manure, let's kind of create a new stockpiling area away, is, you know, it's like a 50, you know, they have acreage there, they have plenty of room. So he's been good about that. I said, I'll work with you on the expired order and the manure, and, you know, it's just seeing NOI for the tower, that's a pretty substantial amount of construction. You know, it, even at the submitted plans, like it did edge over into the 100-foot. And it's, you know, the stream is downgrade, it's right there, you can see it. So he's leasing the land to a cell tower company, so it's not him doing the job. And, you know, my understanding is Sean relayed this information to whatever degree to the, like acquisitions manager or whatever, to the sales company. And he did not seem to want to be cooperative to the extent that, it would have been helpful. So I've just been kind of back and forth with Sean Hayden to see to what extent we can work with him on that, work with the cell company, just because it's not fair to us or the, you know, residents for us to want to, like, you know, work with him on solving these 2 violations, and, you know, the cell company on that property kind of turns around and, like, you know, slaps his face a little bit, is the way I saw it.
Yeah, they're definitely not professional. So just copy me, commission on
Yeah.
the correspondence you have in the email, or draft up a letter that you need us to sign and vote on.
Yeah, make sure it's on the next meeting too.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't submitted anything yet, like I said, but it's just, you know, I just kind of wanted to, Sean's been great about it, where I, like, you know, I walked the site with him and his, property manager, cool, they're both cool about it, but, you know, would like to solve the situation to the satisfaction of everyone involved, but
Yeah.
I guess, you know, obviously if there's a uninterested third party,
Then we'd get everything else resolved first, and we
it's
just
just tough to kind of want to work with the property. And I don't know if they even could, because it still technically have an open permit, I don't know.
Right.
You could open a new job on a property with an open permit.
Yeah, or we wanna allow it. Go ahead.
Not to change the subject, but on that project that went off of 140, the storage area,
Yep. We can't really talk about it, we already closed it and continued it.
okay, I can't, oh, okay, I should have known. It's, no, it's not, no, it's the plan they gave us, right?
Yep.
There's no elevations on it.
Yeah, we know. We're trying to get that, I think that's what, let's not get into it now.
Yeah, all right.
Anybody have any other new business? No, Trevor? And, someone like to make a motion to end tonight's hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Someone like a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Two hands.
Thank you. All set, thank you, have a good night.
Almost.
I will see you on the 8th.
Thank you.
Yay.
Is that a threat or a promise?
Both.
Oh,
Both, okay. I love it, Norm.
bye.